we've got a record to uphold. We're going to start Bengals Titans. We were sort of correct. Most interesting game ended up being sort of the Bengals Raiders. I mean, came down to the last minute. I had, and nobody on this podcast can believe me, but I have eyewitnesses everywhere. That drive, I called that interception. I literally turned to my girlfriend. She was about to punch me because she is a diehard Bengals fan. Like, went crazy. You know her, diehard. I was like, they're not going to score on this drive. They're not going to score on this drive. And I was just watching. I was like, he's going to throw a pick on this next play. Literally next play, throws a pick. I was like, fuck. I literally looked around like, she looked at me like, what in the fuck? And I was like, I just could tell. Like, it was Derek Carr's time. It was the greatest moment of my life calling that out. But the Bengals magic rolls on. The line's at 3.5. Over under 47.5. Does the magic end here? Or can they put one over on the Titans in Nashville with Derrick Henry back?
Dude, I mean, it's hard for me to go against the Bengals. And I mean, I know a lot of people have been kind of disrespecting Titans as a 1 seed. And I kind of have been, I'll admit it. I have. This game is tough just because, the Titans, one thing that I love about for the Bengals is the Titans, their pass defense is pretty poor. As far as, a prop bet, I like Jamar Chase. I got him looking at him at 77.5. I kind of liking him over there. He can break that in 2 passes. So that's why I can't not take him over there, especially with the Titans pass defense. As far as the line goes, as long as this stays at a hook, I don't know how you can't go with Cincy. I'm tempted to literally take them on the money line, but I just can't do it. But you give me them 3.5, just the way that they're playing right now. And against the Titans team that, I'm sorry, I know they're getting Derrick Henry back, and that's huge. We'll see what kind of workload he can handle. I mean, they'll probably try to just give it to him as much. I mean, what do they have to lose? I mean, long-term injuries concerning, but when you're going for a Super Bowl, you got to go for it. But as long as I'm getting this hook, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I can't fully trust the Titans, which is dumb because they're coming off a bye week as the number 1 seed. But they're just, I mean, they're either the 3rd or 4th best remaining AFC team as the number 1 seed. I mean, how can you can't say they're better than the Chiefs or the Bills.
No,
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that opinion right now for sure. Yeah. I agree. The Vrabel has been incredibly good in his short tenure as a head coach with 8+ days of rest. So that is an interesting conundrum. It's hard because I don't know this Titans team, and more importantly, Ryan Tannehill is a completely different quarterback with Derrick Henry. I mean, when you look at and Julio Jones and AJ Brown, it's a small sample size. He only had 11 snaps with that trio intact, but he was averaging 9.5 yards per attempt with the trio. Without that trio, he was averaging 5.2 yards per attempt. Pretty decent decline. All of their efficiency numbers, like any advanced statistic you look at, is vastly improved. They go from like a top 20 offense without Derrick Henry to like a top 10 offense, passing wise, Tannehill with him. The play action, and that is something the Bengals are very susceptible is play action. So it's interesting. I don't know how effective Derrick Henry is going to be with coming off that foot. I'm sort of waiting to make a pick just to read and hear a little bit more. I mean, apparently practice went well, his first contact practice. But the thing I've always heard is like when they put a steel rod in your foot, bigger human beings tend to have trouble coming back from it. Now it is Derrick Henry. He's a monster machine, almost like Adrian Peterson, like where like we all remember him coming back from that knee. Like, what are you, the Terminator here? Like just pure machine. But if he's not very effective, I don't know. At some point, I would think the Bengals would realize, okay, play action isn't as much of a threat, and we can drop back a little bit more, and then Tannehill becomes susceptible. You're right. The player pops. I like Jamar Chase. I really like Tyler Boyd because the Titans give up a ton to slot receivers. Boyd is the primary slot receiver. I haven't looked at his prop yet, but
I think it's in the 40s.
I was going to say he's a guy I would strongly look at. I'm not. It's interesting. Now, I would be interested to see if Zach Taylor puts Jamar Chase in the slot a little bit here because Titans have done well guarding the sidelines. They bring a lot of good pressure or natural pressure, but they can be got. And that's the magic of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And as long as that magic's going, this team is good. If that magic isn't going, though, my Zach Taylor haters know I'm right on this. Zach Taylor is not a good play caller. Like they bail him out. The talent bails him out. I mean, this man is calling on goal line. It was what, like 2nd and 8, 2nd and 10. He called a run, like just a complete waste of a down. Like he just does some of the dumbest things play calling wise, and just waste downs, waste opportunities. It's a very kind of basic offense, not a lot of motion, not a lot of like hiding. Like if Joe Burrow's in shotgun, they're throwing the ball. Like it's just like they don't even attempt to really run it. So we'll see. But Jamar Chase and Burrow are playing. Oh man, it's tough. There's a lot of magic in that duo.
Yeah. By the way, Tyler Boyd, 45.5 is what I'm saying.
Ooh, I do kind of like that. I got to look over his numbers a little bit more, but there's a part of me that's like, I really like if he's in the slot, which he's their primary slot receiver. Titans give up a lot of yards there. So that's an interesting
early lean is over.
Early lean is over for sure. You can read the tea leaves, Trophy Kids. I might put that out on the @TrophyKids pod Twitter handle. So we'll take a look, but I do like that number. Anything else before we kind of move on from this one, or?
No, I'm hoping it stays at 3.5.
I am too. Yeah. This is the one I'm not going to make a pick. I'm going to release the pick on Saturday. So make sure you're following socials. We got to make sure we get those social numbers up. So make sure you're hanging on there. That's where the pick's going to come. But I'm sort of with you. Early lean is Bengals, unless I get some news that Derrick Henry is like 100% ready to go. And it's like, well, okay, now I maybe changed my opinion here.
Yeah. I feel like even though we were kind of, bashing the Titans, even though I think the Bills and the Chiefs are better than them, they did beat both those teams.
They did, which is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they beat like every good team in the NFL this year. But for some reason, I just disrespect them.
They have that kind of aura around them that when the games get tighter, when they get faster, deeper in the playoffs, that they're just going to fade. They're sort of soft is what I would say, outside of Derrick Henry, who's clearly not soft. Do not say that. Do not hurt me, man.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah. Or Tyler Lewan there. He might hunt me down, who is also going to be healthy for this game, apparently. So it'll be interesting. That pick I'll release, but I think that's a pretty good cover of them.